Yo, what is going on, everyone? I'm back with another video. It is actually going to be a quick little 6-month update and slightly newer comparisons to the Superbeing Lab Momento, mainly because I'm doing a giveaway today, the 27th. Wowzers. Wow, insane. Thank you so much to Superbeing Lab for partnering with me for my first giveaway, actually. So, in the description below, I'm going to leave a post from their Twitter and from mine announcing the giveaway and what to do to enter. So, this is basically just a super quick quality and performance update video, as well as some simpler, newer comparisons. I'm going to be mainly comparing it to the Venus Pro and the EC1. So I chose those two mainly because I feel like those two, in performance speaking, are incredibly good. The Venus Pro I've actually gone back to, although not liking it at the beginning. And the ES1 is kind of just like a general ballpark that I'm pretty sure a lot of people have bought in that pad. And so it's just going to be easier to compare it to more popular pads. But obviously, quality wise, the Venus Pro and the ES1 just completely blow this pad out of the water. You know, this pad is really good mainly because the stitching is okay. It's slightly raised above the surface, which typically does irritate me. The base is something it's like a normal generic base. However, the performance that I am still able to get on this pad is what is incredible to me. So even after 6 months of having this pad and using it, it still feels exactly like day one. The holdup with this pad is genuinely really incredible. It doesn't matter what kind of feet I use. You know, typically on the Pulsar feet, they're very, very slow, but this pad feels very nice, especially on my Boardsy X2. And even if I bring out other mice feet, like the G-Wolves mice feet are typically very slow as well, although this mouse is much lower weight to the HTX 4K. However, it's still able to get a really nice initial glide. The dynamic friction is fantastic, and the stopping power is definitely where it's slightly lower than most other pads. Again, bringing out other types of skates. These are BTLs, and they feel fantastic. Honestly, pads that don't get affected by the type of feet is very, very important to me, mainly because I don't want to be grabbing a different pad for a different mouse. I'd rather be grabbing a different mouse for a different pad, if that makes sense. However, having a pad that doesn't get affected by mouse feet, much saying like, oh, I'm going to be grabbing an X2, I better get a faster pad, or oh, I'm getting like a really lightweight mouse, I might as well get a slower pad. I don't like doing that. It's a huge pain in the ass. So I am really happy to say that this pad holds up with every type of mouse skate. So now on to the slight differences between the Venus Pro, the ES1, and now the Superbeing Lab Momento. The biggest difference is in terms of speed. I feel like the Superbeing Lab Momento is the fastest pad, the next being the Venus Pro, and the last one being the ES1, mainly because the ES1 I feel a lot of tugging, so it's a lot of like jittering when trying to just swipe my mouse like this. I've never had that on the Momento. I used to have it on my Venus Pro, but since not pushing into the pad, because this is a mid softness, the ES1 and the Venus Pro are both like basically X soft. So any pressure on the Venus Pro would feel that same tugging, and because it's also 3 millimeters, not 4, so you are able to bottom out into the pad much faster than you normally would on an X soft. Even for initial friction, the ES1 is still, I feel like the ES1 is actually probably very close to the Venus Pro, but still the slowest one, but genuinely not by a whole lot. It's not that much more noticeable than the Venus Pro in terms of initial friction. I still feel like this pad is going to be the lowest. Whoa. I still feel like this pad in particular is still going to be the lowest initial friction, but with the least amount of stopping power. I think the Venus Pro has the best stopping power out of all of them. The ES1 is probably the second just because it's a slower pad, and then this would have the least amount of stopping power. So that's why I typically use this pad for a lot of tracking heavy games. So when I was playing Apex, I would use it for Apex, and I would use this heavily for Overwatch. I've used it on like 3 streams, I think. And then I don't have to switch it out if I want to use it for something like Valorant. It's honestly really nice because I do prefer lower initial friction with just a little bit of stopping power for games like that. But I do play a much lower sense than I do in Valorant than I would obviously something like Apex and Overwatch. Talking about the abrasiveness out of the 3, this is the least abrasive. Honestly, very surprising because typically hybrid pads, at least from what I have played with, sometimes more abrasive pads are a little bit faster. My Hien is still super fast. My first War is still faster than like my ES1. And that's just kind of what I've noticed. But obviously, there are some outliers. My Otsu is faster than my Hien. This pad is faster than the Venus Pro and the ES1. So obviously, it's going to be like, kind of give or take typically. But at least from what I've noticed, typically hybrid abrasive pads are usually fast. But that's why I feel like this pad is really good, because I do know a lot of people that can't deal with that skin irritation just due to like medical things, or just doesn't want to be uncomfortable. So obviously having to be able to swipe your mouse like this and then not have to worry about any abrasiveness on your skin is still very nice, but it is still a textured pad. It's just not as textured as something like the Venus Pro or the ES1. Oh, and the other thing too is this logo over here. What is that on the... Ugh. And this logo, by the way, is also fully printed into the pad. So although this pad is quite on the smaller side, this logo over here, if you actually do get to it, it is printed into the pad, so you don't have to worry about it affecting your glide whatsoever. But yeah, that's pretty much all for my update video. It should be relatively short, hopefully like 5 to 6 minutes, just to bang out all of the comparisons. I also did do a full in-depth review on this pad, comparing it to other pads. I think I mainly compared it to the First War, which is still one of my all-time favorite pads. I still go back to it even to this day. But yeah, I will have that right below the Twitter post of the giveaway, letting everyone know what we're doing. And it should be live by the time I post this, in all honesty. I am actually recording this a day before, just to make sure that I have everything fully set in place, because I don't want to, mess up that kind of opportunity. But yeah, I did just want to compare it very shortly to more popular, better quality pads, but obviously quality doesn't equal performance, in my opinion. I still think I could perform just as well with this pad as I could the Venus Pro. The ES1, I still can't get behind. The surface is just too tuggy, so it's not very nice for tracking based games. Even for Valorant, like if I'm playing on a low sense, I still need to swipe my mouse longer strides. Or if I was playing on like a faster sense where I'm barely moving my mouse, I think it'd be okay. But because I'm more of an arm aimer, I do play on a lower sense, so it is just kind of really weird to use that pad, and I typically don't gravitate towards it. But yeah, that's pretty much all for my review. I hope to see you all in the next video. Should finally have a video out on my HTX and my HSK Pro, both 4K from G-Wolf. But yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next upload. Peace.